Hi guys, welcome to the Trending Technologies. This is Veera. Today I'm going to talk about the new plugin called AapMap. It's basically used for the any Java-based or other programming languages. If you wanted to analyze or identify the flow of your application, and there are other things that can be done using the AapMap. So let me show you the official website for the AapMap. So this is the official website, appmap.io. So if you go to the AppMap homepage, you will find a lot of things that can be done using the appmap.io. So where we can do the map and we can analyze and we can share and then we can repeat. Let's talk about what is a map, analyze, share, and repeat. So if you go to the next down of the appmap.io page, so where you can find what is in a map. So map is a basic assume that you are working for any Java-based or a Spring Boot applications. So if you wanted to run your application and identify the flow of your application, it could be the sequence diagram. So we can use the map feature. So we'll talk about the real-time scenario, how we can do that. And also we can analyze your application, the application performance, security, stability problems, while running your application. And also you can share your with your team members once you do the analysis or identifying any problems or anything. So without having their replication into their environment, so you can share the app maps with your team members so that they can make a use of these app maps. And also you can use the repeat. Repeat is nothing but automate the app map generation in CA and get alerts for performance and security flaws and compare the observability and alerts cross branches and teams. So this is basically the automatic feature for your CA/CD. So we'll talk about later. So for now, let's talk about how we can integrate the app maps. So right now, AppMap, it supports only for the IntelliJ. So if you wanted to analyze your application, you will have to install the IntelliJ plugin for the AppMap. So let's go to the IntelliJ. So this is the IntelliJ. So basically in IntelliJ, you go to the preferences or settings, and then you look for the plugins. So once you go to the plugins, search for the app map. So since I already installed, it's a app map. So since I already installed, you can see it is showing it's already installed. So when you see this particular option, app map, so you just need to click on install. If you don't find it here, you will find an option, search it in the the other locations, or it could be, or you might have to install the latest version of IntelliJ. So once you install the latest version of IntelliJ, you will be able to identify this particular AppMap plugin. So once you install, you will have to restart your IntelliJ. Once you restart your IntelliJ, you will find an option called AppMap in your right side of your IntelliJ. Now, you open any Spring Boot application or you create a new Spring Boot application. So once you create a new Spring Boot application, so let's go to the main class. So this is my main class for the Spring Boot application, where you will see the run option. So when you click on this run option, now you will be able to see a couple of things since you already installed the app map. So this kind of up arrow. So this is the for the app map plugin. You can see here, start Spring Boot web application with the app map. So now you click on start Spring Boot application with the app map. Now your application will start with the app map. So now if you wanted to identify flow or the sequence for your application flows, it could be any API call or anything. So there are a lot of ways to identify. So one, if you have any unit test cases, just run the unit test case so that you will be able to identify your any application flows or the sequence diagram. So since I ran my application with the AapMap, so now if you click on this AapMap, if you click on this AapMap, so let me minimize it. So we should be able to find the recording option. That is to record the your remote calls. So basically to identify the flow of your application endpoint. So let me show you that. So if you go to the tools, you will find AppMap, or generally in the right side also you will be able to see there is an AppMap related. Right now it is not showing. So just let me click on this. Yeah, you will have to sign in your AppMap either with your GitHub or anything. So then only you will get that record option. So since I already signed in with my GitHub link, so I can see the sign in page is successful. Now I can close it. Now open the IntelliJ. Now you can see here, there is an record option. Just click on the record option. You will have to provide your remote URL. It could be any external API URL or your local host URL. So that's the HTTP localhost 8080. Click on the start recording. So now we can see here, the recording has started at HTTP localhost 8080. So since my recording is already started, so I can go to any API endpoint and hit it to get the flow of our application endpoint flow. Now let's go to the Eclipse, go to the Swagger. Since my application is already running and with the port 8080, let's go to the post endpoint. So I wanted to create a new product. Just enter some product name, let's say P11. Let's say some product description, it could be electrical, and the product price is, let's say, it's $100. And click on execute. So now our application is executed and the response is 200 successful. Now let's go to the IntelliJ IDEA. So now we can see here, there are a couple of the new app maps, the flows are generated, right? So now what is that we triggered here? We triggered the post method because we try to add a new product. So if you go back to your Swagger endpoint, so the endpoint is the localhost 8080/product. So now you can click on this product, the post method. Now we can see there is a JSON which has the flow of the application with the sequence diagram. There are a couple of things that you can see here. What are the different packages involved and the different classes and different functions involved as part of this execution? And is there any external calls? It could be database calls or anything, right? So now when the request comes from the endpoint, so since our request has come from the Swagger, that's the client request. So the request is the post, it's the /product, and it is the HTTP request. So now we can see the overall execution for this particular API is the 83.8 milliseconds. So that's the overall flow. And now you can see, so from controller, the flow has taken 71.9 milliseconds. And again, the request goes to the service. From the service, the request goes to the entity. And then, so we make a call to database, basically for getting the data from the request and setting into the entity. So that is where you can see here the flow, which here we use this particular data class, we use it for the response builder. So we are setting the response to the data. That is where we are setting this entity to our response object. You can see here. So now the request goes to the database finally, right? So once the database returns the result, so we are setting into the data and finally returning the response back to the client. So we got the response as a 200, right? So if at all, if you wanted to see the dependency map, so where you can see the beautiful diagrams with the flow. So the product and the controller, from the controller, it goes to the service. And then we have the product object, and then the request goes to the database. And also we do have the builder and the response object. The product is the entity and the response. So that's the final response object. If you wanted to see the trace view, so the trace view is basically, it's just the execution trace view. So each flow, how much time it has taken, what are the different child objects. Now we can see here. So this is the status as a 200 success, and it has one child object, that's the controller. And then it has one more child object, that's the service. And it has 9 child objects, you can see here. One is the product has name, description, price, and the query. What is the query that was triggered for this particular execution? You can see the query and the response builder. And finally, we are setting the response back. So this is how we can see using the AapMap. So if you want to know what's happening, and so when you run the AapMap, the remote start, so there are a couple of things that will be generated inside our target folder. So if you go to the app, there is a target. Under target, we do have the AapMap. You can see here. So when we say record, so it's going to generate a lot of the JSONs. The JSON files it will have all the information about the AapMap. So once we are done with this AapMap execution to understand the flow or the sequence diagram, so you can just click on the stop, so that it will ask you to save the information. So what is that you want to give the name for this? So this is the product. It's a posting point. Stop recording. So now the execution is stopped. All right. So that's all about the AapMap. Hope you guys are able to understand. So thanks for watching the channel. So I would recommend please do subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.